Hello, dime a ver qué pasó, qué lo que, cuéntamelo todo. This is your girl Gigi, and you're here on Gigi's Views. Today's video was highly requested by my personal friends and family members on IG. Between a reaction and all the possibilities of different things I could do, they wanted to see and know what was my curly hair routine. And so thinking about the Dominican perspective, me and my natural hair is now something that's popular, but it's been years, decades, where curly hair was of a lower class or just unprofessional, specifically in DR. In the US, some states have that Crown Act. In DR, it's still a bit unprofessional. They are making changes, but as all Dominicans, there's not one specific feature of us that says, that's a Dominican looking person. There's not that. You're gonna find people with blonde hair, you're gonna find people with very straight hair, and you're gonna find people with very kinky hair in DR. And so I am like somewhere in between. Anyways, estoy hablando demasiada plepa. Let's get to the video, and if you need any help following the steps, just comment down below. To start off, today I'm using the entire line for Uncle Funky's Daughter, except for a little bit of some Not Your Mother's leave-in conditioner right before styling. Before this, I had already washed my hair with the cleansing conditioner and moisturizing conditioner to detangle. Follow through obviously with some leave-in conditioner. The thing with my hair is it loves water. Cuando te digo que it loves water, it loves water. So every time that I touch my hair, move my hair, add a product to my hair, I am also adding more water and more moisture to it so that the consistency and the product actually filters into the hair follicles. This time I'm using the extra butter, which is a curling cream. I like it because it has extra hold, extra moisture, and on these summer days when my hair is extra dry, it loves it. Once I've raked the product through my hair with my fingers, I tend to, you can see my hands doing like a squishy or squishing the hair all together. That's just to make sure and feel the consistency of the moisture of it. If it doesn't feel wet enough, then I add more water. Once I comb through with my fingers and the cream is in my hair, then I use the gel. The Curly Magic Gel is my best friend, and I tend to use too much of it. But as you can see, this is the sectioning my hair even smaller sections to define. This brush allows me to use the combs or use the teeth of the brush as separators for my curl. Every curly girl on YouTube that you will find will use their own method that makes sense to them and has worked for them. This is just how I like it because I prefer a lot more defined curls, very separated curls, than volume on the first couple of days, so that my curls can last more than just a week. And so obviously I can't see the back of my head, so this I'm speeding through, but every part, every section of hair that I separate, I wet, put product in, and then brush through it. I like to use my fingers to rake through and add and mix in the product, the curling cream in the front of my head because it's easier to manage, and because of the front crown section of your head gets so much exposure to your hands, you touching it, you moving it, and things of that sort, your fingers are just more sensitive and will do a better job of making sure that the cream gets in and that the gel gets in. But obviously that one final pass with the brush to separate the curls is what I do. The other trick I use is I separate the big section into smaller sections in different directions. I know, sounds complicated, stay with me. See how I separated this bunch of hair vertically? The next section I separate horizontally. so that whenever I want to move my hair from one section to the other, I can. And if you can hear, you want that squishy sound because that means your hair is wet enough and moisturized enough to actually accept and absorb the product, whatever product you decide to put into it. Now, this is my tough spot. As you can see, I'm giving it a lot of attention. This is the section of my head that sometimes I can put a whole pound of cream and product and water and it still feels dry. But I don't do anything different to this part of my hair that I don't do to the other parts. Put cream, put the gel, use my fingers to distribute the product, and then the brush to separate the curls. You have to be forgiving of your hair because curly hair is very temperamental. Everything affects it. Even your hormonal changes will affect it. So let it live. Find a routine that works for you. And if it doesn't work one wash day, it's okay. I specifically spend over 15-20 minutes just on this section of my head until I'm happy with it. But you don't have to be as obsessive as me. You can move on, sis. Okay. As you can see, my routine is 4-5 simple steps, and as long as you repeat it with every section of your head, you'll be just fine and get all the defined curls you want. First water, then curling cream, then gel, and then use the brush to define and section each section of your hair. Now this top section of my head is kind of my favorite part because it frames out my face. This is where I decide which way do I want the part to go, and I brush out and use the brush in different sections, moving the hair different directions of my head. Some go straight side to side. Here I'm parting it horizontally. And so if you're just tired of doing the same thing and wearing your hair to the same direction all the time, try this. Try all of the front section of your head from ear to ear. Comb it upwards, not downwards or to one specific direction. Change it up in every section so that you have variety and once it's dry. Please excuse and forgive me for the facial expressions. Just like when a woman's doing her mascara in her hair and her face, when we do our hair, sometimes we disconnect what we're doing to what's going on in our face. So this little trick I learned from Hi Felicia. She wet plops. That means she puts the hair after it's been styled with cream and gel and all the products you want, and let it sit for a good 5 minutes under a plastic cap or a plastic bag so that it just penetrates more. At this point, I have the option of letting it air dry or diffusing. Because this was at night and I didn't do this any earlier, I am going to diffuse. I like air drying when it's nice and hot outside, but I will remove with the microfiber towel and the excess water and product that is dripping off. It makes it easier to diffuse and for the hairdryer to do less work and less damage on your hair. I'm using a Dyson on cold and just moving and hovering the hairdryer over the top of my head versus scrunching upwards, because again, my goal is defined curls, not voluminous curls. If you like the volume, then scrunch upwards from the tip of your hair up to the root and hold your diffuser up there. After diffusing for about 15-20 minutes, it's not completely dry, but I'm putting some oil so that my hair, the product is sealed in with the oils and it doesn't fall off on my bed sheets or the t-shirt that I'm going to use to dry plop. And so this is what it means to plop. You take a t-shirt or a microfiber towel and you wrap your hair carefully in it. You can do it upside down for more volume. I do it this way and just wrap it around like a kind of like a headband in the front and lay the t-shirt on top of my hair so that it dries up overnight while I'm sleeping, but it doesn't smush, scrunch, or move the hair in a different direction than as I laid it. And after this, I just went to sleep. I slept my good 8-9 hours. In the morning, I just let it out of its t-shirt, out of the scarf, and shake it up. It definitely is not 100% dry because I wasn't trying to get it 100% dry. I knew I was gonna wake up early enough to continue to diffuse. Just shake it off as much as you can. And as you notice, it's still elongated. The curls are longer, not tight and shrunk. The front area where the t-shirt had direct contact to my hair is completely dry. And the corners, where right above my ears, are always the part that I refresh. I add some water to my hands and then just comb through. Any little part of my head that has a weird curl pattern at the end or stands out and is a little longer than the rest, I refresh with just water. But after refreshing and fixing the little bits and pieces that I feel like need attention, I focus my diffusion on just the part of my head that did not dry overnight, which most of the time is that rough spot on the top of my scalp and the roots. On a normal day, had I washed my hair, let's say 8 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock in the morning, I would have gone out for a walk, an hour and a half outside in this New York humid summer, would have dried my hair right away. And it would have not made it as voluminous. As you can see, that part of my head that I do not like so much was very frizzy for it being the first day of curls. So I went back, put a little more water, put a little more curling cream, not gel, because if your hair is frizzy, it doesn't need gel, it needs moisture. So I went back, put a little more, and gave that part of my head some attention with the diffuser. I like to add a tiny bit of heat when I'm at this part because I just want to make sure that the ends of my hair that may be touching my skin or my clothes don't have any water or moisture in them, because if not, my entire neck and back will be sticky and it's very uncomfortable, especially on a summer day. And so once I'm done, always add a little bit of the hair oil to take out and squeeze out any of the crunchiness of the gel and just give it a tad bit of volume. Here I go with the scrunch upward versus shaking out, and those curls that you see that get tied together or bound together, use that oil in your hands to separate. This again is just adding some fresh air to separate the hair at the roots, because the way I combed it, all of the roots tend to bind together, and so I'm just helping my hair be more manageable, and that is it. Nothing much you could do. Day 2 hair. Frizz, yes. Still under control. And this is day 3. Just a little bit of frizz, a little bit of refresh, water all around, water, hair cream on your hands, and just like, subscribe, and stick around for more videos. If you have any suggestions on any movies, any music, songs, or albums that you would like me to review, please comment in the comment section below. I'll see you next time.